Shall I get going? Or...
Oh, we're still setting it up.
Okay.
Oh,
No.
what?
Um,
Okay, I guess we'll just do.
Hello. So my name is Julia, and I'm here with Maya TV. Hello. And United Matriarchy Nations. I'm their communications manager, and I'm so excited to talk to Emie Fenton today. How are you
Excited to
doing?
be here.
Good. I'm so glad. Emmy is a founder, activist, and an architect of What Comes Next. So she's a founding member of the movement Free Matriarchy, which we'll definitely get into more.
Free matriarch.
Free Matriarch.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, we're a United Matriarchy Nation. So yeah.
Yes.
And then also the organizer for General Strike 2026
Yes.
and a founder of Practical Magic, a pottery,
Yes.
which is amazing. So
Yeah.
you've done so much, but I definitely want to get into Free Matriarch first and tell me about what the movement is, kind of what you guys stand for, and what led you to that.
Great. Well, the way I found you guys
Mhm.
and United Matriarch was also just looking online and feeling like so inspired to see what comes next.
Yeah.
Working on General Strike 2026, which I started at the beginning of this year.
Mhm.
My goal was originally remove Trump, like, get the Epstein files out and, protect people from ICE. And then the more I worked in that space and, and listened to other voices and people doing this type of work, especially, Black and Indigenous voices, I realized, like, just that is not enough. That there needs to be more. We need to not just go back to what it was before, because before there's Epstein files were still there and people were still being, horrible things happening. And so it's like, okay, we need to do something more.
Mhm.
And then the more I started researching it, I'm like, gosh, matriarchy is really feels like the way to go. And then the more I read, Indigenous matriarchy. So that is all how I found you guys. And then I also found Free Matriarch as well. I didn't start it, but I am an admin and I'm helping behind the scenes and to create the infrastructure. So right now it's mostly Instagram. It's just at Free Matriarch if people want to look that up and learn a lot more about it there. And then we do have a Discord group as well that's growing daily. So it's very exciting to
Awesome.
yeah
Yeah, I think
part of
having
that.
that, yeah, community is just really big in itself.
It
So yeah,
is definitely,
having people to
yes,
talk to
and
is
all
amazing.
sort of like-minded,
Yes. Uh-huh.
individuals as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So that leads me to my next question. I just want to ask you, what does matriarchy mean to you? Or how do you have
That's
a
a
connection to
yeah.
matriarchal culture?
Oh, that's both great questions. I would say two different questions because
Mhm.
to me, and I think there's so much misunderstanding
Yes.
about what matriarchy means.
Mhm.
And when I first started looking into it, I think a lot of people think it's women on, the exact opposite of patriarchy,
Mhm.
which is not at all what matriarchy is. Matriarchy is men and women, everybody equal, and but centering actually centering children. And then once you center children from there and you go out, it's mothers and the female caretakers, and then everybody is taken care of, when you start with centering
Mhm.
the children. And so, because we were all children at one time.
Yeah.
So it just makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And then the other question was how, wait, I'm sorry, wait, can you repeat that? I was like, I got a little confused.
No, of course. Yeah. What is your connection to matriarchal culture, I would
Okay.
say?
Yes. Oh, that's why I thought this is a different question because I would say, my background, I started looking into, witchcraft and the witchy community and everything in my early 20s. So a long time ago. And I guess you could say I was a practicing witch, but what does that really mean? And I think that that's really a connection to nature. And through that, I, started studying herbalism and I think most witches were really herbalists and they were female in community. And I think it was threatening to the patriarchy.
Yes.
And so a lot of you know, well, almost all witchcraft went underground for a while and was hidden. And I think that's very similar to what happened to most matriarchy and matriarchal communities.
Yeah.
So I just think there's a lot of overlap and connection
Yeah.
there.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
such an interesting perspective to hear about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Another question I have for you is what inspires you to advocate for, like, I know you've mentioned women's rights and also just headed towards a matriarchal
Right.
community or society, whatever
Yeah,
you see.
definitely.
Yeah. So what motivates?
So my number one, I would say, is I'm a mother to two girls. So just the thought of them growing up, you know, and having to go through and see things, oh gosh, in as far as this patriarchal society. And we are coming. I think that there has been a lot of growth since I was their age.
Yeah.
Because now, even when I go back and watch TV shows from those times, I am fine by what was like normal.
Yeah.
So I do see us moving already. I mean, I think that's a positive thing.
Yeah.
I do see us moving towards matriarchy,
Mhm.
even if it's not you know not official.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Mhm.
So but yeah, my daughters are my inspiration.
That's
100%.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. I think it also is really important to focus on the growth that has happened
Yes.
because it's easy to get lost and kind of feel
Yeah.
like there's no way of breaking through that. But
Yeah.
seeing all the growth definitely can be very inspirational alone too. I would agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, I would love to talk about your practical magic apothecary business, and I would love to know what you do. It's a shop, as far as I'm concerned, right? And
Yes. Well, I'm an herbalist,
Mhm.
and it is an apothecary. Our first retail location was in Hermosa Beach as an apothecary, and we sold herbs by the ounce and all the books and everything. And then we went mostly online, and we still do, I would say, 90% wholesale now to other stores around the country. So we're in a lot of different stores. And then we do have a small retail shop as well in Torrance.
Nice.
It's only open on Fridays and Saturdays. So it's just it's almost like a wholesale outlet where
Yeah.
we, sell stuff. But yeah, so we're mostly online now.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, really cool. What kind of led you to starting that business and going down that path?
I think I was just after my daughters were born, I started looking at, what do I want to do with my life, basically.
Yeah.
A little existential crisis, like, what am I doing? And I wanted to help people. I was always drawn toward medicine and helping people. And so just the way herbal medicine overlaps with I feel like herbal medicine and traditional medicine should be more hand in hand working together in many other cultures around the world. I would maybe not Western medicine. It's like, what is it? Typical medicine is integrated with herbal knowledge and holistic. And so I hope that happens more here in the United States. I think it is. But yeah, because I think both need each other. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, very interesting. I wanted to also ask you about apothecary and botanical crafts and all of that. Would you feel that there's a connection between that and also matriarchal, whether that be culture or just practices?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Definitely goes hand in hand perfectly. Yeah. There's so many cultures where, they use of the plant medicine, the plants that are, around them. And I mean, honestly, the sad thing is we don't know too much about different matriarchal communities, which is one of the reasons I was so excited to find you guys, because you have those connections, and I really want to learn from the people that are already doing that. So I'm excited to learn. And I think that's a question that we will all learn more about.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. I know. Yeah, that's one of our goals is to just promote and also just really help cherish all of those cultural practices and the communities because it's so important. Yeah, for us to just learn, and that in itself will support them and kind of help us
Exactly.
connect
Yeah.
more as women and as people. everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really cool. Now I wanted to ask, what advice would you give to a young person maybe who is kind of grown interested in matriarchy culture, or maybe even just women's rights, or kind of getting to learn more about the community, and how would you recommend they
I
go
would
about that?
say look for teachers who are, um, you know, open to other cultures
Mhm.
and who are decolonizing their thoughts. And we were talking about it earlier. What is the word for depatriarchying your
Yeah.
mind? I
Yes.
think there's got to be a word. I just can't think of it right now.
Yeah.
But learning to yeah, because it is almost like we've all been brainwashed into that. It's just how we've been raised. So how do we deprogram? I guess deprogramming is kind of a
Yeah.
good word for it,
That's good.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's just by reading and finding, listening to different voices out there, especially Indigenous Black voices and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how can somebody interested find Free Matriarch? Or you guys are on socials and all that?
As right now, I would say go to Instagram at Free Matriarch.
Awesome.
And then from there you can DM us and say, if you want to be in the Discord group. And then within Discord, the server, we have different channels for each country.
Oh,
And
nice.
even in like sometimes different states, and yeah, it's breaking it down so you can find people near you.
Okay.
And then that's the goal, and is to form communities all around the world. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Well, yes, look into Free Matriarch if you're interested in that. And I'm so glad you came to meet with us. And we've had some amazing conversations. So I'm just excited to see more and kind of connect two different matriarch
Yeah.
communities. So
Me
yeah.
too. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you so
having me.
much. Yeah. Bye, my TV.